Hey, 22, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies. And today, um I am 22 years old, or more like 2 days ago I'm 22 years old. Yesterday is my birthday technically, but if you convert American time to Hong Kong time, then it would be 2 days ago. So today is I don't know. Um, I want to talk about a film I finished watching this morning, and that is Late Spring by Ozu, or in Japanese Banshun, and the director is Ozu Yasujiro. So it is a tradition for me to watch an important film every birthday. Ever since the year 2021, I've been doing this tradition. In 2021, September 7th, I watched Ikiru, which ended up being one of my favorite films of all times. But that is to be expected. I wasn't surprised that it's like the greatest film ever. I'm like, yeah, I know this is the greatest film ever. 2022, I watched Princess Mononoke. Last year I watched Potter Panchali, and then this year I decided to watch Late Spring. Now, I debated actually, I actually debated myself whether I should review this film or not because I don't think I get it. I mean, I do get it, but also not enough. And this is the worst feeling you can get when you watch a really good film is that you know it's good, but feel you don't enjoy it as much as you want to. And that is like the worst feeling. It's happened to me far too many times. And the thing is, this isn't like my first Ozu film. This isn't my first time watching an old black and white Japanese film. This is like my 20 something time watching a black and white Japanese film from the 60s, 50s, 40s. But the thing is, and this isn't my first Ozu film either. Before Late Spring, the first film I saw was Tokyo Story, which I didn't really quite get at first, but I think the ending really made a very strong impression on me, and I actually cried at the ending of the film. So Tokyo Story was a very special film because I was very bored and confused in the first half, but I think the second half sort of justified the first half, and now I keep when I rethink Tokyo Story, I think that while I was bored, by the second watch I wouldn't be bored, and because of that, it's great. And then I watched Good Morning, which is for a film class. And then last year I watched Floating Weeds, which was very beautiful and kind of funny, but also very slow. Probably the slowest film from Ozu I've seen. The fastest one being Good Morning. But then again, it's all relative because the slowest Ozu film is kind of slow, whereas the fastest Ozu film is not fast at all. And Ozu is like Van Gogh. Van Gogh essentially said that he paints, or not Van Gogh. Who is it? Monet. Was it Monet? Monet keeps drawing lily pads, and Ozu was like, oh, hey, if Monet can draw the same lily pads for hundreds and hundreds of times, I can make family dramas hundreds and hundreds of times. I'm making the same film just again and again and again, and each one of them are as good as the other one. They're all similarly paced. They all have similar actors, similar cast, similar crew, similar everything. So going into Late Spring, I kind of know what to expect. Yet at the same time, not exactly, because there are slight differences. So Good Morning and Floating Weeds, they're both comedies, and they're both in color. Tokyo Story, to me, I enjoy much more simply because it's way sadder of a film. It's straight up melodrama. And Late Spring is melodrama, but it's so subtle, so I'm slightly mad that my friend fake spoiled me. So I was calling my friend last night, who is also a huge cinephile, but doesn't watch enough Asian films, criminally doesn't watch enough Asian films. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch Late Spring later. And she was like, oh, does someone die? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen the film. How would I know if anyone dies? And she reads the synopsis and she's like, oh yeah, someone dies. And I'm like, why the fuck are you telling me? You're spoiling it to me. And she's like, it's not a spoiler. I'm just saying the synopsis. And I'm like, that's a spoiler. So alas, it's not as tragic as I had expected the film to be. And I think that's one of the worst things, is that if you go into a film with an expectation that it's going to be one thing, it's 99.9% of the time it's not going to fulfill your expectations. So it's not going to... I'm going to turn off the AC, actually. Okay, let it run. Let it run. Expectations. I think that's why I didn't want to review it. I don't want to talk about this film as if I'm an expert on it. After all, I've only seen this film once. And I feel like as a cinephile, as a film critic, and given that this film isn't meant to be digested by the general public, it's a film made by Japan, made for Japan, and it's not of this time, obviously. Multiple viewings are required. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I really know what I'm talking about, and this scene means this and that scene means that. And sometimes I watch a film once and I can say that shit. Like Stalker. Stalker requires multiple viewings, but after one time watching it, I'm like, okay, I get it and I love it. Late Spring didn't do that to me, unfortunately. I just think that I'm not confident enough to make a review of it. How do I say this? Late Spring, by the way, I'm not reading off of a bullet list. I'm going in completely improvised. Late Spring is a family drama. It's a melodrama about the character of Setsuko Hara, who is the name of the actress. I forgot the name of the character. I always remember actors' names. I don't remember character names. Setsuko Hara. She is a 27-year-old woman. She doesn't want to be married. She lives with her dad, but everyone around her wants her to get married, and that's the whole film. It's actually surprisingly simple of a film. There's nothing complicated to it. The film is about 107 minutes long, and honestly, I thought it's short at first. I thought it's gonna delve into a lot of complicated family dynamics, but truthfully, it's very long. It's a very simple idea stretched over very long. So for a very great chunk of the film, I'd say 80% of the film, nothing happens. It's like slice of life. And again, I've seen Ozu films before, so I know what to expect. I know that it's going to be kind of a slice of life film, and then the ending is going to be sad. It's slice of life and then it ends sad. Every Ozu film sort of does that. But this time, it doesn't even reach the sad part. And then by the time it ends, you realize that the whole film is sad. In just a very subtle way. Same with Tokyo Story. This one was actually really similar with Tokyo Story. So that's why I recognize that it's good. And I feel like if I went into this film with no pre-assumptions, I probably would have enjoyed it much more simply because now there's Tokyo Story and there's a Tokyo Story expectation to it. And it kind of is Tokyo Story, but it's less emotionally effective to me. Maybe it's because I've pondered my relationship with my grandparents before, so Tokyo Story hit me harder. And I actually cried at the end of Tokyo Story. I didn't cry at this one because I've never been forced to marry anyone, nor had I ever been subject to a family member getting married off. Um, so I have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to feel a lick of sadness. Now I sound like a sociopath. A lot of people are like, "Oh, if you're a human, you have to cry in this film," and I'm like, I get it. I get why it's sad, yet it's not hitting me as much. Um, yeah. So, the ending is beautiful. It's poignant. It's very, very subtle. It's very simple. There's the iconic vase shot that is beautiful. I think Ozu is really, for real, no cap, the progenitor of the slow, sad cinema. Everything from A City of Sadness by Hou Xiaoxian to like After Sun by Charlotte Wells. You know, the kind of slow film that has a lot of padding. It's really peaceful and relaxing, yet there's just this unspoken melancholy in every single shot. Um, and I love that so much. Yet I'm not affected by it as much as I wanted to. So I don't know. I feel like I'll have to rewatch this to really give this a firm rating. I'd say it's like a strong 9. I do want to give it a 10, but I have to rewatch it. And the thing with rewatches is that I can't immediately rewatch something because I remember it. So I'm gonna wait maybe 3-4 years. Maybe one day I'll forget what happens in this film and then I'll watch it again and then maybe I can form a different opinion. But I need to wait until I forget what happens in this film first, which is difficult because I always remember everything I watch. But unfortunately, I'll have to put this film in the rewatch bin, like many other films. So, Late Spring. Have you seen it? Comments below. Let me know if you want more. Thanks for watching. Um, yeah.